everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing Naya Burn in a way. It is obviously Boros if you look at it at first glance, but we did add a green card in here to play. And Teta Boy, or the guy that was playing the deck that I kind of took initially, who took it up to Columbus, ended up 7-2 for anybody that wanted an update on that. He was 7-1 going into the final round. If he had a same record pairing, he could have drew into top 8, got the pair down, ended up losing and placing 16th with this deck list. So it's very cool. But after talking with him and things I've experienced and stuff like that, we kind of settled on adding in a Questing Druid into the Boros Burn deck. It's like, why would you add a green card? Why would you put so much effort to put in an extra green card? Well, it's very simple, right? This is actually a red card. We're using it for the Seek the Beast. And obviously we could use something like a Rend Resolve or things like that. But instant speed on our opponent's end step is really nice, even though like the other ones, they don't go away until our next turn anyway. But we can hold this up or burn, right? So we can hold up like a Boros Charm or a Lightning Helix if we need to remove a creature, things like that. So it works really well with our hand and how often it plays out. The other thing is the green mana is pretty free overall. Like if your fourth land comes in tapped, like you're not that upset about it in this type of a deck where 3 mana is your highest card, and most of the time you're going to be casting a 1 mana and a 2 mana spell. But we get to add 6 green lands in here to play the other side of this. Outside of that, this is only 4 lands that ever hinder themselves from being tapped. They would just be basic mountains otherwise. We have Copperline Gorge. This enters on tap if we have 3 or less. If it is the 3rd or less, this comes in on tap. Otherwise, these would just be mountains. If you don't really want to play the Questing Druid, you can cut it and play Rend Resolve or something like that if you really want to. But we decided that playing the extra green and giving us one final creature that can grow a ton and it looks very, very good whenever you Boros Charm it later is very, very nice. So that's what we settled on. And then in the sideboard, as you can see, this is a best of 3 deck. Other than that, we can break the deck down super quickly. If you haven't skipped ahead, it's Boros Burn. Pretty obvious game plan here, unless you're a little bit new. But we have Boltwave. Sorcery speed, 1 mana, deal 3 damage to each opponent. Upstairs it goes. Burst Lightning, 1 mana, deal 2 damage. We can kick it for 4, which comes up in today's video. So that is very cool. Upstairs it goes. Hired Claw, our low to the ground creature, along with Swiftspear, is basically honestly here to distract our opponent, to have them remove that, taking turns off, allowing us to get more and more burn in. Every hit these do just basically take away a burn spell that we have to send to our opponent is kind of how it ends up playing out. We have a Shock in here that goes upstairs and 2 Monstrous Rages, which is typically our aggro's best card, but here we are just burning them out along with Boros Charm and Lightning Helix. This is the interesting card, so we'll cover this one first. This could deal 3 damage to target any target, and you gain 3 life. This is a really good aggro mirror beater as well. Other than that, we have Boros Charm. This is a old boomer card, if you would. But choose one. It deals 4 damage to target player or planeswalker. Permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. So like a board wipe doesn't necessarily get you. Temporary lockdown does. That's why we're playing burn. We don't necessarily care that much. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. We can do really cool things with this. Even if we have like a Slickshot in play, get a lot of prowess on that thing. And then we can make it have double strike so it can hit a lifelinker out of the way. Other than that, our way to deal with lifelink is Screaming Nemesis. If this card takes any damage throughout the game and we hit our opponent with it, they no longer gain life. However, we did beat a turn 4 Atraxa in a very, very cool way. So that was very exciting, I will say. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and dive into the games. I think this is a really fun version of the aggro deck. It really has a forward game plan and it's not playing the mouse, which obviously I've been very frustrated with, just because it's like, man, I hate having to only play exile effects that are worse everywhere else just because of the mouse. But outside of that, let's go ahead and dive into the games. I hope you all enjoy them. And if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. And once again, the sideboard will be in the description along with the rest of the deck if you're wanting to play best of 3. And if you want to just cut the Questing Druid, there's a Rend Resolve. Just cut these and make them mountains if you want. But outside of that, let's go game. All right, we go first. We can play a land untapped and play a Swiftspear right away if we'd like. I'm not opposed to that. Maybe cause some pressure, but we can also play a tap land and do the same thing, but we'd be down to damage. And they maul anyway, so. Because if I did it backwards, like you can argue it'd be the same, but it wouldn't because I get 1 here and then I can do 3. and then 4. So I'd have a total of 5 in comparison to 4. I don't think I'm cashing on that. I could have, but I think we wait for the slick shot and everything to be ready. Combat. Okay. Put up your counter spell, brother. Oh, Reanimator? Okay. Or, yeah, it's gotta be Zombify Reanimator, right? There's a Valgavoth and a Sire of Death. Okay. Alright, well. Definitely need to have the, like, damage come through. We get 2 damage regardless, but this way we get to remove the creature out of the way. Here. This is gonna be a zombify immediately. Is my opponent gonna have the nuts? Of course they are. My bad, brother. Let's see what we hit off. Actually, you're gonna block the slick shot. That's almost a guarantee. We'll see. Let's actually, we might be able to win this game. All right, exactly what we needed to happen in order to win this game. I think so. I mean, that helps win the game too, right? Yeah, I'd like to kill my own creature. Just like that, we get around to Valgavoth. Very sick. Good job, team. They had the nuts, and we still beat it. So, that's one of the weird parts where you kind of have to, like, think about the toughness of the creature. Because if they would have blocked a Swiftspear, I wouldn't have been able to shock it out of the way. Obviously, I did a Burst Lightning, but I wouldn't be able to Burst Lightning that out of the way. But we get there. Oh, I dare you to put a Valgavoth and play with this on the battlefield. Oh, it's just going to be a laydown arms. Don't worry about it, team. Don't worry about it, team. Yeah. I got it. I got it. I got it figured out. Oh, no. It's almost like I said exactly the card they were going to play. Fable Passage? Sure. Nothing really queued up there. That's a little tough. We're going to have to ride these Screaming Nemesis to the Promised Land. Although we do have a lot of damage. Do I want Boros Charm for 4 or do I just wait? I mean, I guess Exile and Indestructible doesn't work well together. Sure. You know what doesn't work well with that? This one. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't expect to draw more lands, though. That's the only tough part. They have another laydown arms. They definitely could. Didn't seem like it. They didn't start off with it, so it feels weird that they would. They attack to gain the life now. Sure. I think I'm holding up double spell here. Make it a second white. Don't mess up with this land. We're in. I'll give it double strike. Then when they get lost it here, I'll give it indestructible, or I'll give it indestructible. Okay. Yep. I think we have to do this, right? They have too much life gain to allow this to keep happening. Like, that's 3, that's 5. Like, against this matchup, unless they really put a ton of pressure on, we'll always get to the burn part of their match before they win. I mean, this is 4 damage alone, and they're not going to be able to counter it. So it has to be like an Archangel pressure and things like that. And then we have like a Screaming Nemesis and double strike here, which is 6. And there's a Carrot Cake, which again doesn't do much. Like it does make a token and draw a card, I guess, which is a lot, but at the same time it's not. Yeah, so then we're at 19. No life gain. At this point, they'll also block, by the way. We don't have a reason not to. By some miracle, they choose not to block. Okay. So we have lethal. Why should they have blocked? They already can't gain life for the rest of the game, so you're better off blocking with a 1/1. So you only get hit for 1 instead of 3 here, but maybe they feel like obligated to do this pressure plan. No Fable Passage crack. Hello. Nothing feels better than playing against this life gain deck and just being like, hey man, good luck, by the way. Yeah, like you can't gain life anymore, so I'm just going to make it awful for you. Yeah, that's fun. Sure. We have 4 here and 4 here, by the way, if you're wondering how we have lethal. You can kick this for 4. Then when this goes away, we deal the final damage for spending 5 mana. I had people try to tell me, not like in the, like, not online or in the chat or whatever, or comments or whatever. I've never had anybody try to tell me Burst Lightning's bad or worse than Shock, but I had people at our local shop trying to tell me Shock or Burst Lightning was like very minimal gain over Shock, and I was like, I think you're insane. And like, just be able to use that, like that's 2 Shocks we just used, right, for 5 mana. I know that's a ton of mana, but it won us the game there for having it over a Shock in our hand. Oh man, it's almost like cheating if we just get to go first every game. Who would have thought the aggro player being allowed to go first? Ooh. Gross. So we got blue-black poison then? Interesting. I just played this. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just gonna play it, I think. You figure it out, brother. I don't know. Gotta be blue-black poison control. There's just no other way. Maybe, I guess. No way, right? Hello? Yeah, so we just saw for a fact that they're the poison control deck. We're in, and then I'll go for a Helix here. I don't know why they picked my Slickshot over the Higher Claw. Was the poison so important, I guess? Like, I don't know. That's fine. I'm fully content on just being aggressive with these creatures. And they can experimental augury or something if they have to. Okay, so they've missed the land. The Higher Claw can be cut down. They both can die to drown. This is this card, which is technically a sorcery, so let's shock here. Let's see if they interact. They could have counter spell, which I won't use the Helix here for any stretch. Sure. To make our creature a little bit smaller, use it as value until we have to Helix them. We're racing right now. They're essentially, in terms of poison, they're at 4. And we are at 8. Which is just an interesting plan. They hold back, which tells us a lot, right? Go to combat. There's a pause. Gross. Here. Here. We remove that, and then we get to make the higher claw a little bit bigger. Down to 4. Boros Charm off the top is lethal. Their counter spell is a hard one now. It does automatically counter everything. Sure. Boros Charm. Don't laugh. Team, don't laugh. Everybody calm down. We've all been in our opponent's position. Don't laugh. Kind of funny though. All right. The game stopped me. They said, hey, your opponent's first, and they're probably on aggro now too. Yeah, we probably queued into that now. We get the Forge, Burst Lightning, or Shock something. And we got to play the control version with Lightning Helix somehow, but also take a ton of damage. Oh, no! Here. Will this do damage? Who knows? We'll die immediately. The thing about it is you kind of like can't remove this immediately. You have to be super careful because of things like Slickshot are so annoying. Now they have to decide whether they want me to attack with this or not. If it's a go for the throat, I'm definitely... Ooh. Skeletons? Interesting. I mean, if that's the case, and I'm getting hit with that, I'm just going to pass here. If they want to shuffle that away, then go for it. That's fine. Here. 4 damage. Do you? I'll let him counter. They just take it. All right, sick. I'm proud of you. Well, since my creature's tapped, I guess they just sit around and do nothing. You don't mean it. Don't flash another creature in. Ooh. Let's see if they play a Calyx or a Gix or not. Can I protect this? Has 2. Honestly, yeah, why not? Just make this spell bad. And this also becomes untapped, and now this can't block it, even though it has that kind of menace situation. Or not menace, vigilance. Sure. Cast your Enduring Curiosity. I believe in you. We don't have a way to exile it, so we do have to kind of just like shoot the 2 creatures down. You can do it. I believe in you. Wow, this is a tough decision from our opponent. In combat, they're like, what do I do? If you're casting Enduring Curiosity, just cast it, brother. Wow. Huh. I can actually pump this. That's kind of weird. But I'm not going to let them draw 2 cards. I'll tell you that. We can figure this out together, brother. Get this thing out of my road. Get him out. We're in. Now we're in. Now we are in. Move. Out of the road. Now we have a Boros Charm. If we draw the second Monstrous Rage. Oh, you passing? Sure. We're in. They're not budging, right? If they make a 1/1 here, I got game actions. Not really, but... I mean, I do, I guess. What you doing? How you feeling? Another enduring curiosity, you say? A Snapcaster Mage? Man, they really baited us all, by the way. There's like a Reddit page. Okay. That's fine. You figure out where that's blocking. I guess we just deal the 4 damage first, right? Then our thing stays to go to 3, and we're perfectly at Helix mana. But there was a Reddit page that said a creature that has flash and gives a card flashback is going to be legal and standard. And we're like, giving a Snapcaster Mage back? Is that what you're trying to tell us? And they're like, honestly, they just gave us the bird. Straight up. No matter what they do, we have lethal here. There's not an amount that they could do that prevents us from winning the game. Yeah, I think they realize that. But yeah, I mean, Burn right now coming out on top and just being an absolute force overall, like in comparison to like the other prowess stacks, which I think the other prowess stacks in a way have an advantage over us, but they obviously get to go, if they go first, they do. That's how like the aggro mirrors kind of go sometimes. But like a lot of these weird games, we've just worked them down, and just because of the burn spells, instead of actually putting stuff in play that has to make contact, we have so much like weird interaction, you know what I mean? It's just been an interesting game plan. Opponents first. I can't imagine eventually it's not going to be... They said, I don't care if they know what I'm playing. I hate them. Here and here. I have a Lizard. That's a Seed of Hope. And that's a Squirming Emergence. Okay. Alright. Plot. Attack. No pause, so cut down seems a little less likely. There might be a 2-mana enchantment that enters the battlefield this turn. So the thing we gotta make sure we can do here is just be really aggressive. In the air. They might have a better triumph right now, but we're in. I got stuff. I don't know. They say good game. I feel like I'm losing. Upstairs. We have the same plays we have the other day, by the way. Sure. Or the other game. They're down to 12. They didn't get to improve at all with the Squirming Emergence. They only have 1 permanent in the yard. Sure. So here's like the weird part. Oh, that's a really good hit though. That's what? 4? That's 1, 2, 3, 4 permanents? Okay. Oh, that's actually a really good hit too. That means I can Questing Druid on instep. How much is this? 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm just gonna Questing Druid then. I know it's like a weird thing to do, but unless they put a lot more it's weird. I guess I could have counted that. It's just weird because unless they put a ton more permanents into play, like I don't really have to budge right now, right? And they also don't have a good reanimate spell in there. There's a little bit more permanents. They have 7, but now they only have 4 mana, so they have to find a way to put something in the yard. And Otherworldly Gaze is a card that used to be legal that's not legal now, but they don't really have the option of. I think I would have done the most damage I could with the Burst Lightning the last turn. I was gonna say, yeah, I would have cast the Burst Lightning last turn if like there was an actual threat in there, so I could put him at 2, and then I would just cycle the Questing Druid on our turn and hope to like in the 3 draws that I find lethal, right? But because they needed so much, I'm not even sure what it could have been. This was at 4. No permanent in there. They needed that seed to hit something, and so they needed to have Squirming, which they probably did, and then they needed to hit like an Atraxa or just like I think that actually matters, right? So it's just a weird spot. Maybe I'm supposed to, like, because I am playing burn, consider it all in. I guess so, right? Because then their mana would have been tough. Yeah, now that I think about it, I probably did do that wrong. It's a weird situation, I think, but I think I was being too cautious from playing, like, more cautious decks in the past. All right, cool. So we went undefeated with this best of 3 deck. In best of 1, it turns out spells that go upstairs are good. I didn't even see a Boltwave. Like, I never even had just like 1 mana deal 3 damage to you. We just had like the 2 that we spent 5 to deal 4, or we did 2 mana to deal 3. But yeah, we just never had that weird turn where we got the Boltwave our opponent. It was just funny now that I think about it. But other than that, I think it worked out really, really well. All this burn in their hand, and then even more burn here, right? So in theory, this is 12 damage. This is 8. So this 8 more, like, add 6 more, you have 14 in terms of this. So, you know, 12, 14, that's enough there. But you also add in 3 more for each one of these and 4 more for each one of these. And that's just a ton. 16 sitting here, and then like another 12 sitting here. It's just so much that you will get to 20 by just casting burn spells if that's what happens. The main thing you want your creatures to do is just chip in damage and distract your opponent while you burn them, right? That's the thing. Like, whenever a higher claw is attacking over and over and over, it's just dealing 2 damage a turn, which thankfully our boy Tetaboy, I convinced him to finally play the higher claw over the scamp, or the not the scamp, but the dude that pings. And because the main reason I kept telling him is, like, sure, the other one that got the counter could ping them if they put something in the way, but if they don't play anything, and best of 3 has that happen a lot. For example, say Domain, they might not have anything outside of a Leyline Binding, but they have to hit 3 mana to cast the Overlord. Do it. This deals 6 in that time frame, and that's counting if you never pump it, right? And that's just where it all comes down to, and how the game kind of grows out for this deck. Other than that, obviously we have Screaming Nemesis to counter all the kind of life gain decks in a weird, cheeky way. And then there's the sideboard if you're looking to play maybe in best of 3. Cool card and recipes. But the main thing that we end up playing was Questing Druid. Realistically, this is a red card that is green. It is mainly in here for the Seek the Beast. It is not in here for the Questing Druid part. But sometimes it just comes down to that. And splashing these lands don't really affect you that much. Like, these would just be more mountains. Or, like, because you're never playing a basic plains. You're only getting your plains off this mana regardless. And Verge is always a mountain. So the forest part never matters. Unless you just put in a basic mountain. Then you can make the green. So it's not necessarily like an overcommitment, I think, in my opinion. Just having the white mana is really nice, and then also getting access to something like this for the Zombify decks, so we don't have to do something where we shock our own creature to win those games. Outside that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I know it was aggro. I enjoyed playing it. I think Burn's kind of a cooler way to do it, outside of just like casting 7 spells on one creature and then flinging it at somebody. But with that said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.